local people, important issues. CBS 10 WILM's weekly focus on the Lower Cape Fear region. This is Byline Wilmington with your host, Don Ansell.
Welcome, good morning. The failure of Wilmington's oldest and largest hometown bank, Cooperative Bank, has brought a new major player to the region. First Bank is headquartered in Troy, North Carolina, and took over the assets of Cooperative Bank from the FDIC in June. Jerry Ochiltree is the president and CEO of First Bank, and he joins us as our guest today. Nice to meet you, Jerry. Thank you for coming in this morning down from Troy, North Carolina.
It's my pleasure to be here, Don.
Great. I was chatting with some people the other day, and they said, well, and we were talking about this acquisition. They said, well, how does something like that happen? So can you give us some insight on the process of how First Bank got to get to take the assets of the
Sure, I'd be glad to. The way it happens is we're working with the FDIC, and we are signed up on what they call an internet link with the FDIC website. And I get a notification of any banks that they're looking to maybe to close or looking
that may
to
be in trouble.
May be in trouble, correct. And they give us an opportunity to submit a proposal to bid on that institution. And with with Cooperative, that's really what happened. We were notified, maybe a week or so beforehand about that Cooperative was in trouble. It would be interested in coming in and looking at the bank. And we come in and do what we call due diligence, come in and look to see if it's something that we feel that we can handle, because there is a lot of risk involved when you're looking at an institution of that size. And once we got in, we saw what we was there, and we call it kind of getting under the covers.
Right.
Once we saw what was under the covers, we felt comfortable with it, and we got back into the bidding process. My understanding is there was a couple other banks that also bidded on the bank. They've not revealed that information to us yet, but that will be public knowledge at some time on their website. And we were a successful bidder, and we were very excited about being the winning bidder. And
does that mean that First Bank was the highest bid?
The highest bid, yes. Yeah, the way they really look at it, Don, they look and see which bid would actually cost the FDIC fund the least amount of money. And that's really the way they look at it. They really don't care if you're the highest bidder or what, but they really look to see what is going to cost the fund the least amount of money is the way they award those bids.
Is a consideration also how strong the bank is so that it can succeed?
Yeah, to be able to bid, you have to be approved by your regulator. So you do have to be a healthy bank in order to bid on an FDIC assisted deal.
But you had a week. That's a pretty fast track.
It was real fast. I got the notification on Tuesday evening we were a successful bidder. I had to be in Wilmington on Thursday afternoon to sign papers, and then the FDIC, along with the State Banking Commission of North Carolina, took over the bank on Friday evening and turned around and handed me the bank on Friday evening. And then we had to open as First Bank come Monday morning. We're still in the process.
That was like June 27th, wasn't it?
It was June the 19th. They took over the bank, and then we opened up June the 21st, I guess, or 22nd as First Bank that morning.
What did you have to do on your end to get this? Who did you have to run it by? How did you get it approved? I mean, you had a week.
Well, I pretty much already, had talked to my board, and it really had their approval. And from our standpoint, that's really the approval process is going through that. The State Banking Commission, they were excited that we were, an in-state bank was, going to be the acquirer. So they were pleased that we were the successful bidder. And like I said, before we could bid, we actually had to have the green light, I guess, is to say, from our regulators to
go forward.
To go forward with it.
Right. I imagine the board relied heavily on your advice.
They did, on my advice and other members of my senior management team, and then we also engaged, an outside firm to come in and also to look over our bidding process.
In that
to
week?
Make sure. Within about a 2-week period, that's correct.
So how big an expansion is this for First Bank?
Well, prior to this, we were in 3 states. We had 75 offices in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. This added an additional 24 offices. And, expanded us, from Myrtle Beach, which we were not in that market. We do overlap in some of the former cooperative markets, but, got us all the way up to, Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, which we were not in. got us into Jacksonville, Morehead City, and some of those markets that, that we really had our eye on that we'd like to expand it into at one time. So it was a natural fit into our footprint.
So relative to the operation, what kind of operation did Cooperative have as opposed to the operation that First Bank has? You were quite a bit larger.
That's correct.
And heavier in assets.
Yeah, we were about 2.6 billion in assets, and Cooperative was about 970 million in assets. So, now First Bank is 3.6 billion in assets, and with 99 offices, spread out through a 3-state area. From an operations standpoint, for their customer base, Don, in their markets, it's still business as usual for them. We will be converting what we call the back room operation sometime in October.
What does that mean?
Well, what that means is like your checking accounts, savings accounts, and then you'll be able to go to all the First Bank branches throughout our whole network and be able to do business. Right now, unfortunately, like where we overlap here in Wilmington, our customers cannot go to the former Cooperative branches, and their customers can't come to ours yet because we're on 2 different operating systems. But once we convert those systems, we'll all be on the same system, so it'll be business as usual for everybody to every one of the First Bank branches.
What's the time frame?
We're looking for sometime in mid-October, and we'll be getting notifications out to all of our customers on that and giving them enough time. And if there is duplications of check accounts, we do unfortunately have to issue somebody a new account number and get them new checks and things like that. So
when we come back, we'll talk a little about your perspective on what you think happened.
Okay.
At Cooperative Bank. Stay with us. Our guest this morning is the president and CEO of First Bank, Jerry Ochiltree. We'll be right back. Stay with us.